Hey everyone, welcome back to the next video from Get Gone Trailer Tips. Becca and I are here at the storage unit. Thankfully these tires are in good shape, but I'm about to show you how to change a tire because if you remember, I just serviced the jack because it was leaking a little bit. So I had to change a tire on the side of a road, and that was a bit interesting. And I was like, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity for a video, the perfect inspiration for a video. But that was a bit interesting, and I was like, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity for a video, the perfect inspiration for a video, but I wanted to do it in a safer location, hence we are here at the storage unit. So, you've got your jack, that's well serviced. If you don't know how to do it, see our previous video. What you want to keep in mind is to put it under a very heavy-duty structural location. Becca, if you don't mind coming in here a little bit, please. So if you look here, between the tires, you'll see where the leaf springs come together. That's your suspension. Don't put a jack there. It's not strong enough. It's not meant to take it. You'll see this I-beam here that runs up and down the entire camper. That's where I've been jacking it. That is just the research I've done. That's the strongest, the most safe location to do it. If you go back a little forward here, I'm not sure if y'all can see it or get a good view of it, but you'll see an axle running between both sides, both sets of tires. This is a tandem or dual axle camper. You do not want to put the jack there either. Putting the jack under that and lifting up could break your axle and put you in a bad situation. So, what we're going to do here is put this under the I-beam as I just mentioned. Now what's cool about this jack, again, I didn't show it to you on the servicing video, but you can raise it up. Obviously it comes out, but you can raise it up to get closer. That's good. There's a little bit of space here, just in case when it comes down, it sinks down further for whatever reason. That allows some cushion, so that way you're not stuck weight on a jack and you've got nothing else to do. When I was on the side of the road, I needed extra height beyond what the jack offered. So I used these guys here to give me a little extra height. It worked out pretty well, and I felt it was very safe because it was about the same size as the base of the jack. Now I wouldn't do this normally, unfortunately, because I'm not sure what these are weighted for. It's probably not the safest idea. But when you're on the side of the road, you've got no other option. So it's just an idea to use, something I did. I think it's a safe idea if you're in a pinch. Anywho, as I mentioned, you're here under the I-beam. We're gonna raise the jack just enough to get on the bottom of it. And as I mentioned in the previous video, you see this kind of jack stand taking place. There's a bit of a lip on the jack also. I want to make sure that is around the front side of the I-beam. Okay, so we're starting to pick up. But before you take weight off the tire, you want to loosen your lug nuts. Otherwise, you'll be in the air and you'll be like, oh crap, I gotta put it back on the ground because the tire just keeps spinning as you're trying to loosen it. So, lefty loosey, righty tighty, loose. Alright, so we've got all 5 of the lug nuts loose. We've got weight on our jack, just a little bit of extra support as we're loosening that. And now we're going to go up. Alright, cool. We're up, we're free spinning. I thought I was going to need to use these guys. Anyways, so your lug nuts come off. Some more free spinning than others. Okay, so we got all the lug nuts off now. I just put them to the side. Make sure we keep them together so we don't lose any. Tire's ready to come off. This is a good tire, so I'm not replacing it. The only thing is, when it was changed, this bearing cover was not put on, so that's why I chose this tire. When you change the spare, there's only 4 of these on each. The camper usually comes with 4 of them. Okay, now you see the bearing cover is flush with the surface of the rim, the wheel. put it back on. And what you're going to do is hand tighten first each of the 5, in my case 5, lug nuts. The reason that you hand tighten and then you take this and gently tighten is that the lug nuts also act as a centering device that puts the wheel about as perfectly in the center as we could hope it to be. Keeps it in balance, prevents weird vibrations, and it's just a good practice. Like I said, this is 5, so do a star pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it were 6, you would just go across, over, across, over, across. It's something pretty easy. One thing I want to point out while I'm thinking of it, on your tire iron, this one stays with this camper. So you've got 4 options for lug nut sizes. 3 of them are wrong. I just put a little bit of electrical tape. You can paint it, put nail polish, whatever makes you feel good. But this way you can look at it and know, okay, this is the one I need. Save yourself 30 seconds or whatever it may be. Now, to be honest with you, it is a little quicker. To get it all the way on, you just take your tire iron, kind of hold it here, and let it spin. And then we'll get it snug. All right, that's pretty snug. I didn't want to say snug, I can go a little more with my hand. We'll just do this all the way around. Like I said, star pattern. All right, so that's snug. Over here, keep it with the star. All right, so that's snug. Again, that's helping to center the rim on the axle, on the rotor. The rotor's that thing I was spinning and knocking that mud dauber nest off of. Okay, cool. So there's 5. So I ended here. We're just going to give it a little extra. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just go. All right, and 5. So you see it's on there. It's sturdy. It's not wiggling. You don't hear the lug nuts themselves chattering. Next, I'm going to grab the torque wrench. And this camper is really nice because it tells you exactly how tight to torque it, 100 foot-pounds. Be certain you check what your camper calls for. I've got my torque wrench here, an extension. This is a 1/2-inch drive socket, specifically a 21 millimeter. It's going to be different for each of y'all, for your camper. So again, just check, verify, and do the right thing for you. My particular torque wrench, I got it through school, so it's a fancy one. You can find torque wrenches at Harbor Freight, at Walmart, Craftsman. I would at least go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get one of those name brand ones like Cobalt, Milwaukee. One of those kind of tools. A more reliable, might be the word, more reputable name. I got no problem with Harbor Freight. They got some good stuff, some good deals. I just want to spend a little money on torque wrench to know that it's right. Anywho, so here we are. We're still jacked up. Before you torque it, unless you just want to keep spinning around, you want to lower the jack. Now this is the safety one as I mentioned before. So to unlock it, green, unlock, I got to bring it up. And we're going to try to come down as slow as we can, as gentle as we can. Which oftentimes that initial bump, there we go. That went pretty good. I'm kind of proud about that. Anyways, bring it down nice and slow. As you're doing this, just make sure you're clear. You don't want to be in the train of movement of the jack, of the motorhome itself, whatever you're jacking up, just to make sure that you're safe. All right, there we go. Get everything out, clear. There we go. Put this back to the storage position. Back in storage, push that all the way down. And as I mentioned in my servicing video, which I hope you go watch that also, make sure you tighten that so that way the fluid doesn't leak out, and then you got to service your jack again. So this is cool. We got our lug nuts semi-tight, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, star pattern. All right. This one's going to take a while. Now, you'll also notice, if you go back and look at the image of the torque sticker, is that it asks you, click. Click means it's tight. In this case, I always go for a second just to make sure you're good. Star pattern. But as I was mentioning before it clicked, I wanted y'all to hear the click, is that after 25 miles, let me check so I don't tell you something wrong, following winter storage, 50, 100, 200 miles after tightening them. That's just to make sure, as I mentioned, these kind of center it, to make sure that as the wheel moves, as it settles onto its mounting point, that it's still centered and tight. And look, I tightened those two, and this one I can move by hand. So it's just prudent before big trips. After you've gone on a big trip, when you get to your location, if you have your torque wrench with you, click, click, just go ahead and check the tightness. Yeah, like that's got one, at least one, if not two full turns before it got snug on the rim again. Click, click. Did I get this one? No. All right. This will be number 5. Feel it tighten up there. Click, click. It was just ingrained in me. Growing up with Dad in the garage, working on things. I go back into the star pattern a second time. That's up to you. I just recommend it. So I'm gonna go back, do the star pattern a second time. But as far as that goes, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. All right, guys. So one of these steps as you're preparing to change a tire, do anything as far as moving the suspension, moving tires, anytime you park your trailer for that matter, is you want to properly secure it. So we've got a big old 4x4 here on the back. We've got the yellow chalk in the front, and I've got the same on the other side. That way you know for sure that as you jack up, as you're doing maintenance on the camper, it's not going to move forward and back, slip on the jack, and try to, as best as you can, eliminate potential injury situations. So just one thing I wanted to mention. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this little journey Becca and I are on, and we just want to know what you're still doing here. Get going.